This is Levi Ruth, the Dragon Slayer, suited for you. Big respect.
I've been here a few times now, bro.
Yeah, this is the third time.
Third time.
Yeah. You're the most. No one's come on more than once, apart from Pose, but that was a guest.
Yeah, fair play. I mean, this would be the best time. we got a lot to talk about, man. Like
that's what I'm saying. So this is what I want to do. Like now, I want to have the catch up on the podcast because the thing is, like I was stopping. I was considering stopping doing this, and then like you know when you just like for a split second you just think about like restarting everything that you're doing. I was like, man, the podcast like. I just did so much time and stuff because obviously I do all the editing and stuff and I didn't want to... The last thing I want to do, like the only thing that I outsource about this is the thumbnails because it's like, bro, I can't draw. Do you know what I mean? Everything else I do and like... You're not... Because you can write music, you're never going to outsource to go to get a ghostwriter because you're just paying... They might be, alright, cool, they might be a tad bit better in certain genres. But you can do it.
I feel out of integrity doing
That's what I mean. Like so with me, it's like I want to do everything I can for myself for this podcast. And then I was like, you may as well. Like podcasts are just sick, bro. Like, you can just catch up with your friends for 2 hours.
I saw one stat that said that most people that start podcasts they don't make more than 2. Or some shit like that. It's like they don't make more than 2 or 3. And then it doesn't pop and then they're like, it flopped or whatever. Like if you make more than 10 podcasts, you're already in something like the top 10% of podcasters. I
swear now.
Yeah, who make content. But I think
I'm on 25.
Well, there you go, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like they say, I think as well, it comes down to the fact like people, it could be with anything, right? If you're writing music, somebody makes a couple songs and they're like, he's a trash. I'm not gonna pursue this. But that's what comes with repetition. It's like practice don't make. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you keep going, you get a little bit better, and then you start mastering it. People start taking.
This is the thing. Is like, so obviously I had Costa on, Costa good, and they blew. Like bro, there was like 5 clips on like 1 million views, and I hated it. Yeah. So I was like, that was like my 4th episode or my 3rd episode. I was stuttering, the camera angles were a bit off. Like, because now, like, this is the thing, like, now I know how I want shit. I don't want to do mad like at the start I was doing some mad edits, I was doing some other shit, and I was like, nah, that's not viable for like future episodes. Now I've got it. Now I don't mind if it blows. But then I hated it. So I think that's why I don't do TikTok for podcasts. Like everyone that has a podcast spams out everyone spams out clips, and that's what I started doing. Yeah. But I don't want this to bang because like, picture this, right? I'm not going to do any less than, like, 5,000 episodes. Joe Rogan's only done, like, just under 2,500. Like, this is, like, my...
And he's, like, 15 years deep. So.
That's what I mean. So, my future with this is so far. Can you imagine seeing me in 20 years and being like, yeah, I'm on the 5,000th episode and none of them are banged? Like, I'm not getting a steady 100k.
Statistically, that wouldn't happen.
Exactly. Do you know what I'm saying? So, why rush greatness? Essentially says it all the time. Why would I rush getting 1 million views? If you had a choice to get 1 million views on a song you spent ages working on, or 1 million views on a song that took you half hour, it'd be the one you took. Do you know what I mean? Like, why rush it?
I'd go for both, to be fair. But
I'm chatting. Like, but the thing is like, and as well, things that just blow, only certain people and certain things actually like maintain that. Like, if you get a song that goes viral on TikTok, like.
Yeah. That's the whole, and that's you know, like I was speaking to Luca not too long ago about this and a couple other people about how like it shouldn't be nowadays that, you know, take even 10 years ago, right, when we didn't have this kind of infrastructure, like in terms of social media to really put yourself out there, it meant like the barrier to market filtered out the shit music. It filtered out the people who were just kind of in it for the money.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, anybody can go make a one TikTok, and this isn't new stuff. Like, this isn't, you know, people know this, but it's like, you can make a one TikTok, your song will bang, but then nobody hears from you ever again. You take 10 years ago, like, to have 1 million views on anything, you're like a walking celebrity. In London, especially. Like,
I think after that one song bangs, that's then when the filter comes in. I think now, after that, you can't keep making shit music that bangs. Do you know what I mean? Like A1J1 slapped with Trends.
Yeah,
and then they done another song that's half decent, then it's slowly just filtered out.
Yeah,
they're not really built for it. Like, but then you've got some other people that have a song that's like Margs, 163 Margs, like the most humble guy from what I've seen. It might be completely different in real life, innit?
Yeah.
He had a song that slapped on TikTok. I can't remember. You know what I mean? The quick drill one.
Yeah, I think,
and he's actually maintained it, and he's still selling out shows and shit. Like, that's the guy that I think even back in the day before TikTok was a thing, he would still be at his level.
Yeah. I haven't taken him in yet. I'm due to take him in still, but I agree with you completely, and I think it comes down to the fact that when you have a slow, steady burn to your career, people, you collect supporters and fans and people that connect with you along the way, right? When you blow up quickly, like you do a TikTok, it gets 1 million views or whatever, and you just get like fast tracked into stardom. Everybody they're there because they're hopping on a trend too. The fans are the same thing. It's like they're not there because they actually enjoy your music necessarily. They're there because this is a trend, or they're making a video to it. Yeah, they want to feel part of something bigger. Whereas you take anyone, and that's why I think.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? The actual listening to the song.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so glad that I started this shit before, because I hear a lot of the time. When I speak to artists, and this isn't everybody, but I grew up with a lot of musicians and artists and stuff, and they always say, I'm waiting for the right time to drop. I'm waiting for until this falls into place. I'm waiting and I'm guilty of that shit as well. I used to say that stuff as well, but the best thing you can do is just to take action and just drop it and see what happens. You get me? And if it pops off, cool, great. If it doesn't, you keep going and you keep going and you keep going. If you really love this shit and the music especially, like, you'll keep doing it no matter what. You perform to 2 people. You get me?
Yeah. I think there's a line though. I think that doesn't mean rush stuff. Like, you mean in the sense that don't put like the weight of it on the universe just to be like, oh, it pops when it pops. Because like for this, bro, this has been an idea since 2019. Yeah. And I didn't start it till last year, 2023. But at no point in that 4 years was I like, oh, like, it'll just happen. Like, do you know what I mean? Every single time I thought about it in that 4 years, it was like, now's not the right time. I still need to do this and that. Do you know what I mean?
I feel that. I would argue, though, that if you had just started in 2019, you'd be further along in your journey now than from when you started. Because Probably. There's actually, like, in a sense of, like, basically, how I see things, is taking action is better than no action. You know what I'm saying? Taking action even when not in the primary position or the optimal phase or the, like, exactly everything's not perfect, right? It's still better to take action then than it would be to, like, wait until shit is perfect. Because, again, the same way when it comes to music and, for instance, like, when me and Luca dropped our first tape, shit weren't perfect at all. I didn't even promote it. Like, I was almost like still in a phase of, like, I was like 15, 16. I wasn't even really taking it seriously. Like, I didn't, and I've said this before, I never really took it too seriously back then. But had I waited for the perfect time where I felt like I was, I waited for the perfect conditions, or, I waited and waited and waited, I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now, because Memories wouldn't have done what it did. It did what it did because we dropped it at a time when we had no fans, no supporters, just literally dropped a tape, like, and said, fuck it, have it, you know what I mean? And then, it didn't really do much for the first couple months, and then, maybe 6 months down the line, it started picking up, and we was like, wow, what the fuck? We'd already been making music again, but it was just like, if we never just took action and just said, fuck it, here, have that, and put that out into the world,
things would have been a completely different...
100%. Because think about, me getting that traction on Memories was actually what pushed me to be like, shit, like, people do fuck with this. I should go further with it. I should keep doing it instead of just kind of like doing something else, or just fucking chilling on a block or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just, it's sometimes you never know what can happen, and that's the thing. Like with,
and you're not gonna know unless you take that step.
Taking the action is you're just putting stuff out there and creating more. You're making it more likely that you're gonna succeed. Because probability wise, it's like if you shoot 100 shots at a target, you could you're just spraying and praying. A few of them's gonna hit, bruv, just by probability, and that's and I never used to think like that.
It's like we were saying about the amount. If I release 5,000 podcast episodes, at some point it's gonna start banging.
100%.
Yeah.
As long as especially like, look, bro, you got, you know what I'm saying. It's not like you're in some dingy little flat, like just
the lift was a bit
on a little potato mat. Yeah, too silly, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
It's good quality. You bring on quality guests, like. There's no way, and I see so many podcasts, like I see so many people that shouldn't be doing podcasts. A lot of them are just platforms for people's egos and that. But you actually, I from knowing you, I know you're interested in this shit. I know you love the culture and the scene and that. And yeah, man, I think this is just keep going, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's what I mean. I think when I considered stopping, it wasn't even stopping. It was more like. I could tell it comes to that roadblock that I have with everything. Like, so much stuff. So, like, with the drink business, obviously the fruit and Thai, that came to a thing where I was like, I've got to start weighing up. Like, it's not as much as it's fun, like, the time that it's taken and the time it's putting in my life, and then how that actually equals out to the amount it's benefiting me isn't really adding up. So I sold it. Do you know what I mean? We haven't even spoke about this, but yeah, fruit and Thai.
Damn,
that's
bro.
sold now. So that's what I'm saying. But that's because, like,
yeah, I was wondering why you weren't plugging.
Yeah, it's why I didn't bring one, but that's because it come to a point in my life where it's like I've got to start adding that up, and 90% of the time when it comes to that point, that's my brain telling me like, look, that's not you no more. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's the same, bro. Everything I like get interested in and start doing. I'm just like, I need to filter out, like, is this going to be a long-term goal? Yeah. Bro, even the same with females, you know what I mean? Like, it gets to a point where you've got to be like, you ain't a kid no more, bro. Yeah. Is this wife or is it not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think when this happened with the podcast, I was so, like, deflated because I was like, oh. And then I actually sat down and I thought, nah, like, everyone knows knowledge is power.
Yeah.
So imagine having a platform where you can... anything you get interested in or want to know information about, you can have, like, the expert in that field and have a one-on-one conversation. Like, bro, this is like Google on steroids.
100%.
Like, I can ask a question and get an actual answer that's like based at me.
And it's human as well, you know. I think why people like podcasts is because it gives space for nuance to occur. You know, when we was growing up watching TV, you listen to talk shows or you listen to even on the radio, right? They have a small little window of time, usually like 15, 20 minutes.
People call in and shit.
Or people call in, but I guess the point is that it's a new form. I mean, it's not new, but in the last kind of couple years, how podcasting has blown up to the level that it has, it's because people are obviously hungry for long form content. Like if you're thinking about if we talk for 3 hours, somebody's listening to 3 hours of people talking because they're interested. And I think, especially now when everything's just so abbreviated and shortened down and filtered down to like I was saying, like on talk shows, like if I was to go on a talk show, I maybe get 10 minutes of answering questions and my answers have to be a certain amount of time because they're dealing with their little time slotted window that they've got from their higher up production company the big bosses are telling you like, there's narratives that they have to push and all of these things like on newscasting and all of that. It's like there's none of that here. It's free flowing, nuanced conversation, and that's what I think people are hungry for.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like so many, like if you don't hear from normal people, right? Who you hearing from? Celebrities and stuff. Yeah. They're paid to say shit, like, and they can't say the other stuff. Exactly. So with this, it's like, bro, I can say whatever. Cool. Some stuff might like come back to bite me and what's the word? Kick me in the teeth later.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Probably will.
And it probably will. But fuck it. Like who else? Like this. I'm not being paid to say anything, especially right now. And I wouldn't ever want to be in a position where I am. Because it just takes the human out of it. Like
100%. I agree. Exactly. Yeah. 100%. I like that as well. That it takes the human out of it. Like it's, Yeah, man. In a world now where, like you said, there's so much narrative and propaganda and stuff being, you know, like I'd be so careful now, like when I'm scrolling through social media about what the algorithm is feeding me, because it feeds you stuff that you want to see, right? And yeah, it's so hard not to be biased in this state of the world right now, because everything just validates who you think you are, your beliefs, your political beliefs, all of that kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah, man, I've just been trying to be more careful with the kind of content that I be digesting. I've been trying to like curate my algorithm recently to see other perspectives and that. Even in comments, like, you know, I saw on video of this girl where I think it's like some girls like talking about how her man didn't come home from work early or some shit like that. And then like it was this couple, they watched the same video and they got different top comments for like that would, so like on the man's side it was all like backing the guy, and then on the woman's side it was all backing the woman, and it just showed like, even when it comes to comments,
even down to that,
it will feed you comments that you want to see. So it's like, if say for instance, like a lot of them on, like, if you see like I'm Just News or any of these news platforms on socials or Instagram or whatever, and there's anything political in terms of like the Israel, Gaza stuff, or the anything, like any news thing, like all the comments, it will show you what your political ideology aligns with. It won't show you the other comments. So you'll be reading the comments, you might see something and then read the comments and be like, I'll see what other people are saying.
Vice versa,
everyone there is just validating your political idea.
Vice versa. It will show you sometimes like the complete opposite. So then, if you're the type of person to comment,
it will fire you up to get
that's
you commenting. Yeah,
because you know, like, we know that technology exists. Yeah, of course it does. Like, the amount of shit that's happening nowadays, you think that they can't program that?
Oh, 100%.
Of course they can. Like, you think that they're not including that, like that, the amount that would benefit social media on a large scale, even down to just like an algorithm. Yeah. Like, bro, like, you see people on the For You page, bro, hours. If you can put that down to even the comment section.
Man, it's a scary world we live in, man. It's scary, bro.
Facts. Yeah, right, one thing I wanted to talk about as well was, like, obviously last time you come on, you said about the nature retreat.
But I was off my nut last time I came.
No, not on that. The first time.
Oh, the first time. Okay, yeah. What do you want to know?
What, have you done anything else more like that, or looked into anything like that?
No, man.
2 weeks ago, I went on a
Oh, you went on one?
No, not on a nature one. It was in like some like massive temple, and it was like breath work, meditation, everything like that. Yeah.
That's cool, man. Where was it? Temple.
That Aetherius temple or something.
We got temples in the UK.
Yeah, of course we have temples.
Is it?
I don't know, like, what religion.
Roman temples or something. Yeah, man. Nah, you know what? I remember when I spoke about that. I remember that you put a little clip up, and I saw the comments, and one dude was saying, he was like, "Blood, this guy just went on DAV and he's talking." Like, you get me? Like, I can see why it sounded like that, but it ain't no DAV shit. This is a step further. Like, DAV is some vanilla thing. Like, you get me? DAV is nothing. But okay, that's cool. Oh, you booked it, yeah?
Yeah, you book a ticket. It was called How to Really Escape the Matrix, but that's a bit mad.
Oh, I remember you sending me that before. What is it, like a men's thing? It's like a men's retreat. What is it like?
Nah, this wasn't. There was all men there, but I don't think there was only like 4 people there.
Damn.
But it was. I'll read you out.
Fair play.
But now I'm trying to get into that. That's what I was telling you earlier. Like, I'm trying to have like such a positive outlook, like, on things now. I think if you can be someone that's literally so content with himself to the point where like you see certain people in online and you think like, you're not really like that, but then you see other people and you're like you literally are so content with your life and with yourself that like anyone could say anything and you would just still be as happy, and you'd still be not even just happy, because I don't think it's important to be happy all the time, because I think it's like if it was sunny all the time then it wouldn't be nice, would it? It would just be normal. Yeah. But I think like even then when it goes the other way and you're feeling down, like you don't let that affect stuff in your life and start like making bad decisions because of it, because you know that's just part of life. So just being content with like the flow of life, that's something that like
you aspire to.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You'd be crazy not to. I think anyone should aspire to be like that. I think, and that's great, bro. I think, you know what I'm saying, like more power to that. And I've done a lot of that before as well. I think we need to be careful, and I say this because I've gone down this rabbit hole, where things like self-improvement can end up being kind of like mental masturbation. You know, like you must see all these like motivational TikToks, like all of these like all this red pill like motivation core, like man, you know, being strong.
People doing like a TED talk in the background.
Yeah, and just all this stuff, and like even a lot of it is like good, and you know, but this is the thing. Again, it's like, and I'm going on something separate from what you're talking about, but it's like the whole self-improvement, like always being positive, always being like top of your game, always trying to, you know, in that sense, mindset wise and all that, like it's all good, it's all needed. It's just that a lot of the people that are engulfed in that, or you know, taking in that content a lot of the time, again, are not taking action on anything, right? Like they're getting it, they do all the meditation and all the mindset stuff, and it's like, you know, they have their morning routine, you know, they have their ice bath and the, you know, all of their meditation and reading and all that stuff, and it's like none of that. I guess we're talking about two different things. Are you saying, I guess from a standpoint of
I don't mean
just
like,
just feeling content with life,
yeah,
right?
I mean like for example, like Joe Rogan, yeah, like just such like an all-rounded like just content guy. You can just tell, and it's nothing, and this is the thing how I'd separate it. Like I wouldn't put like Elon Musk, I wouldn't put him as content. So it's clearly not measured on money. It's measured on like the love for life. Like you'd never, obviously I don't know Elon Musk, but you don't, like with Joe, he'll go on like.
I thought you knew him.
Yeah, it's my boy. Yeah. No, but with Joe, like you see him taking in so many different like factors of life and just embracing it all, and the ability to like watch a video of like, I don't know, say like Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
And actually look at it and be like, wow, that's really nice. Instead of just looking at like a waterfall on a screen. Being able to actually take stuff in is such like a skill. And being able to not take stuff for granted and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And again, I think a lot of that does come from the podcast, because he's seen so many people lose so much and embrace so much in a positive way as well. That it's probably so easy to like separate both and know that actually at any moment things can just stop. So you actually do need to embrace like literally everything. And that's what I think it's more of. Instead of being content, it's more like actually just living in the moment 24/7.
Presence.
Yeah.
And
you mean like the guys that are watching like Andrew Tate at Yard, innit? And
just that whole incel stuff. But no, I guess like, and I say this because I've fallen down this rabbit hole before, where like, you know, if I'm feeling demotivated or whatever, I'll watch a bunch of videos on like, or, you know, I get lost in it. And you feel good for a bit, like you feel almost like, right, yeah, man feels motivated now to do things, but it's fleeting. It doesn't, it's not anything permanent. It's like, I would say the key to feeling content and happy, even though I don't really like the word happy, because I don't think happiness is really what we're here for, especially as men.
That's why
right?
That's why I stopped.
We're not here for happiness, bruv. Happiness is something like, happiness is like, you're lucky to experience happiness from time to time and enjoy it while it's there. But like, I think we're obsessed with this idea of like always trying to be happy and fucking antidepressants and even drugs. And I'll tell you firsthand from the drug thing, like, you know, I was always chasing a feeling of wanting to just be in this perpetual state of happiness, because I couldn't face my own stuff, right?
Yeah, then you actually do have to face it, innit?
Yeah, but really and truly, content and feeling good about yourself is about just having a stack of evidence that says I'm undeniably who I am, who I say I am, right? If somebody says to me, you can't write music, yeah. Or if I ever get in my head about, oh, my shit writing or da-da-da-da-da, I've got a stack of evidence that says to the contrary. And so it's easy to overcome that kind of bad thought, right? If somebody says, like, I don't know, what was it, like, you know, you're shit at basketball, I'm gonna feel more insecure about that if basketball was something I wanted to do, because I don't have the evidence that shows to the contrary that I am good at basketball. Anyway, when it comes to, I think a lot of the time, yeah, and I saw this recently, I can't remember who it was saying, I think it was like Alex Hormozy or some shit like that, where people get, how can I explain it? It's like, yeah, man, you just need to have a stack of evidence that says, when those dark thoughts come in your brain and you start doubting yourself and shit, that says, like, I can look at my past, I can look at what I've done, and that's bullshit. If anybody tells me I'm wrong, if I tell myself that I'm not good enough, it's like, you can overcome that with the evidence, but that comes from the discipline of putting the work in first.
Yeah.
And I think people see people who are successful, right, who are rich already, and see what their life looks like. You know, they're doing the meditation and they're doing the ice baths and they have their whole reading routine and the morning routine and all of that stuff, and they think, oh, cool, I'm gonna be like that because that's what that successful guy does and that's how he got successful. But it's not true. Like, I know that anything that we've built that was worthwhile took weeks, months, sometimes years of not sleeping right, not eating right, of waking up at sometimes, 2 in the afternoon thinking, fuck, I gotta get up, go to work, gotta get money to do, like, all over the place. I mean, in my case, like, even I was, on drugs and shit and just going on a mad thing. And that's sometimes what it takes to actually be successful. It's not no fucking, like, smooth ride up to the top, do you know what I mean? It's like, and I think where all of that stuff comes in is like all of this monk mode shit and like all of this stuff, I feel like it's kind of akin to mental masturbation sometimes if you're not careful. I feel like it's good to it's good to have both. Like,
it's like a quick high, isn't it?
Yes, and it's like, bruv, work hard and do that when you have the time, because that's your happiness, right? Like, meditation and that is like, that's you trying to feel happiness and content. But content doesn't get the bills paid, bruv. Being content, being happy. Think about all the times when you're quote unquote happy, right? Like, you're with your friends, you're chilling, you may be doing, for other people it might be doing something you love, but I would call that more of a flow state than happiness. I don't like the word happiness, bro. I think we should stop using it.
That's true. That's why I tripped up on it as well. Because as soon as you say happy, it does link to content. And as soon as you say content, it's like, I just picture someone just sitting there.
Yeah, but
and that's not my life. I don't just sit there. So
exactly, and look at everything that you've built that's been worthwhile. Anything that you've been successful with, you weren't happy when you was building it. Really, I mean, like,
that's why you build it to make a change.
Yeah. I mean, you probably enjoyed the process, but you're enjoying it. It's like going to the gym, bruv. You get me? It's like you're working. You're not necessarily happy when you're deadlifting or when you whatever. You're happy after you've done it, when you've gone through the pain and put the work in. And I just think, I mean, you probably tell this is the kind of stuff I've been digesting a lot recently. But
same, bro. That's why I brought it up. Because, it's mad. And I think the idea as well of happiness, I think it's completely different for a girl and a boy. But I think speaking firsthand, obviously as a boy, like, there's happy. Happy reminds me of, like, if I'm sitting around with my friends. Like, right now, I wouldn't even explain right now me and you talking as happy. I mean, like, me and you, if we was gonna go to a chicken shop, get some food and talk, but not like about nothing serious, just about joking and stuff, about laughing back and forth. Like, that's happy.
That's happy, bro.
But people think like happy is like the top. The top is like, if I wake up at 8, leave the house at 15:15, go to work until 10, and then go gym for an hour. And then after that, then sort everything out in my room, tidy, do the washing, whatever. I don't touch bed till like 12 p.m. That feeling when I just get in bed of like proud of myself, that is like 100 times better than happy. 110%.
I agree.
Because like...
that's accomplished.
Yeah, and it's nothing like... like you can be born and look good, right? Cool. That doesn't
Yeah.
take any hard work. You know what I mean? You can just be a good looking guy.
Yeah.
If you, and this is not taking steroids into account, if you're a jacked guy that clearly isn't on steroids but just genuinely healthy,
Yeah.
or like a really smart person, because again, you can be born with good memory and be smart, cool.
Yeah.
But if you're like the smartest guy in the world, there's no like shortcut to that. You can't take an antidepressant and be jacked. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So there's stuff
time.
that's like, yeah, like I can't cheat feeling like that proudness of myself.
Which I think is, I think, and that's one of the beautiful things about life is that no matter how much fucking, you know, antidepressants or shortcuts or, you know, liposuction, like whatever, really true like health, mentally, physically, spiritually, it's you're grinding a stone down. There's no shortcut to that in its purest form, and I think that's what. Genuinely, for
that's
me,
why it's better than happiness.
Yeah,
bro.
that's what makes I think my life much more beautiful, because there's certain, you know, like even, and like cool, whatever. Say what you like about Andrew Tate, like as a person and that, but you know when he's saying, I remember I was watching some clip of him saying to like Aiden Ross, and my man was like, "Oh, what's the quickest way to get a six pack?" And my man was like, "Why does it got to be quick?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be easy? Why does it have to? Why can't it be hard? Why can't it be pain? Why can't it be stressful? Because anything worthwhile in life, and I speak about this all the time to my people, and like I think, you know, people, including myself, spend so much time just waiting to make a decision on what to do instead of just getting up and doing it. And see, it's like, you know, I watched another guy talk about how, you know, basically everybody, every character, every celebrity, every successful person that you see went through a period of maybe the first 6 months where they felt like an imposter. They felt like they weren't in the right place.
Doing the wrong thing.
They were doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
They thought about switching their thing. They thought about, you know, all of this stuff, and just stuck at it. And I say this to people, like I get DMs like people asking me for advice about how to start music and and it's like, honestly, there is no cheat code, fam. There is no code to it. There is no like formula to it. Just start. You get me? Just start.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, like,
because again, yeah, I suppose the reason people wait too long is because they're waiting for the perfect time. But you're saying, that, bro, there is no perfect time.
There is never. Your perfect time. You'll wait for that perfect time and you'll be on your deathbed.
The perfect time was yesterday.
Yes, bruv. Exactly, bruv. I love that. That's great. And like, yeah, bruv, because you'll be waiting for the perfect time and be on your deathbed wishing you took the chance, bruv. You get me? And it's like, you know, I heard this quote. It was like, there's like the saddest thing or the most depressing thing is like when the person you could have been meets the person you are, or when the person you are meets the person you could have been, right? When you meet, say 10, 20 years time, you're 40 years old, you could have taken a chance, but you went and just got a menial job. No disrespect to that, but just like you didn't do what you wanted to do. You went and just got, and you know, some people can't. I get that, you know, but like you went and just got a job. You settled for less, always just you know, just kind of settled. And then you meet the guy that you always wanted to be. That's the most depressing shit I've ever heard, bro.
Especially because, like,
you know, if you
as much as the revising was he just a metaphor for it.
Yeah.
But as much as the revising's dead, like, in, I don't know, when you receive them test results, all the revising, the hard work, like, and how like shit of a time it was, none of that, you're not going through that anymore. Like, if you go to gym every day and then in 5 years time you finally have like a nice body that you're proud of and shit like that, and you can tell it's hard work, all of that 5 years of struggle, you're not struggling no more. You like at that moment you feel nice. So just literally like firm it through that bit.
But then even then, it's like the journey never ends, bruv. You get me?
Yeah, but I'm saying like every single time like you're done with the struggle, you're not struggling anymore. So that's obviously temporary. So just firm it. Like, bro, David Goggins, you know my man, obviously. Yeah. Not like personally, but he says it all the time. He's like, because he obviously, have you seen a picture of him when he used to be fucking like fat as
he was
fuck?
like 400
bro.
pounds.
Yeah, massive. And he said that the thing that switched him wasn't people calling him fat and shit like that. It was that one day, like when he goes to heaven, God doesn't want to be like, he doesn't want to go and see God and God say to him, rah. I don't even think there's any tissue.
Sorry, we'll drive home. I just step out for a podcast and I gotta fork out 4 bills on each sofa. Crazy out here, man.
No, and he said that he doesn't want to get to heaven and God basically be like, look, this is what you should have done. Like, in his head, right, he thinks that when everyone's born, like, there's like a script of like the person they should be.
What do you think about that?
Normal. I don't think, but this was his way of thinking about it. And I'm saying I think certain parts of it, like, so now, every single time he feels like, you know, like, you'd be like, oh shit, I could go do like 50 press-ups right now and it would benefit me. Or, oh, I'm not as tired as I normally am, so I could just go revise for another hour about whatever. He says that every single time he has a thought like that, he does it. Because that's like God telling him, look, you're not a track for that person that you're meant to be. Like, the life you're meant to live, you're a bit behind it. So, and bro, my man is literally like, he's broke so many world records. Like, bro, he's done 100 mile. You know, I don't even need to explain.
He did like 4 Ironmans in a week or some shit like that.
He ran 100-mile marathons, right? And after 30 miles, he broke both of his ankles, and he's still done the other 70 miles.
Brother, my man taped. I think he broke his foot and taped. I think he like snapped his shin, and just wrapped tape around it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it's mad. And obviously that's an extreme, but it's
no, but it's true though. It's true when you say the thing that you're most scared of doing is the one thing you should do.
You know YB's Cinch's manager.
Yeah.
He posted something the other day, and he was like, normally the right decision and the hard decision is the same thing.
100%. That girl that you're not really sure about, that she don't really meet your needs and that, and she's not really for you, but you're staying because you want to cheat and that. Like, bro, that's the. But you know, anytime you have that thought of like, oh, I kind of want to get rid of this, or I kind of want to do that, but I'm a bit scared. It's like, that's the decision you need to make.
Yeah.
That's what will propel you forward.
Because you're not gonna regret making it.
No, you
like,
won't.
even if that goes the worst in the world.
Even if you do, it's like you've got the game.
Yeah, but I'm saying
experience,
that's not regret. That's like, oh fuck, I wish it had gone the other way. But you're always gonna regret not making it. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, it's facts.
Exactly, man.
It's facts. It's like, if you, do you go gym?
Yeah.
Do you do calisthenics?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so I just started doing, like 2 months now. And
but
sometimes,
yeah.
When I'd start and go, and I'd do pull-ups and stuff, and as soon as my arms start aching a bit and shit, and then someone's calling me and being like, yo, you need to do this, do that, whatever, then I'll just go. But if you go gym, and this isn't just for calisthenics, but I'm just well into that at the moment.
Yeah.
If you do that, and you do like, look, I'm going to do pull-ups, I'm going to do 5 pull-ups, and take 10-second breaks until I can't do it anymore. Yeah. And with no music, no nothing. Because why would, like, music makes shit easier, like, and again, like, as people say, like, don't have it easy.
That's
like,
when I used to shit too as well.
Yeah, he said that, didn't he? When he goes gym, he doesn't listen to any music because it's like softening the punch.
Kind of. I feel that. I mean, like,
I still listen to music now, but I mean that it's good. So, like, have you seen people recently like raw dogging airplane flights? Or it sounds mad, innit? They're not doing it. It's not. It's basically where you sit through like a 6-hour flight, no music, no movie, no like whatever. Literally just like watching. You know, on the planes, on some planes, you have like the plane moving.
Yeah. The map.
Literally just watching that for 6 hours. And people doing it, and they're like proud of it, and I'm like, that's mad because people only doing it because it's a trend. But imagine if you just went to the airport one day and was like, you know what? Like, that's mentality, bro. Like,
I tell you what,
it is pointless. It is pointless in the sense that but I'm saying that if you say that you're gonna do that, and you actually do it, what's to say you can't just do anything you think?
No, you're 100% right. I think people. The cost of inaction is so much greater than the cost of action. And I on what you just said, right? I remember on that DAV shit I went on, quote unquote. Yeah.
Just a school trip.
I went on this other retreat. It was called Visionaries, and just all about, ate vegan for two weeks and that, like, didn't have, just eating healthy stuff, and we had to do this thing where we got up at 5 a.m. It's dark, obviously.
Mm.
And we had to pick out a spot. This was in the Lake District, like middle of
I think
nowhere.
you told me this.
And we had to go and sit there for 16 hours, right? Just pick a spot in the woods. Like, forget an airplane, bruv. You got sticks and trees, ticks, insects, whatever.
Yeah, you told me this, yeah.
You just sit in that and you just sit there for 16 hours.
You said some people couldn't do it.
Yeah,
It's
some
like
people
dropping
couldn't.
off.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
people couldn't. And I don't blame them because it's... Bro, you know what's
People
crazy?
secretly hate themselves, bro. Like,
Yes, they do. But I'm not... But I think... People shouldn't hate themselves, but... Like... I think people are so arrogant these days, man. I think... Especially because of, you know, you can blame social media or whatever, but, and this might just be what I see, I'm bearing that in mind, but, like you said, bro, most people can't take 5 minutes away from their phone not stimulated or not doing something or not talking to somebody or not watching a video it's like, they did this study, right, where they basically, I think they asked people of different age groups to kind of just like sit on their own, and they had like a stimuli in front of them that they could use if they wanted it, right? Like a phone or like a little game or something like that. And they were just measuring how long people of different age groups could just sit. And it obviously, like, as children, it's going to be harder, but it was like people from 18 up to all the way to like 40 and that. And yeah, basically, and there was just across ages, right? Most people couldn't sit still for longer than like 4 minutes. They couldn't just sit with themselves in their thoughts, in their brain, and just not be stimulated by something. And I think it's natural in a way, because that's another muscle you have to train. But like you said, most people do kind of hate themselves, and man, in this world, like, people feel like they need to hate themselves. You take all this woke stuff, right? You see this woke ideology shit, right? Just makes everybody feel like a victim and a perpetrator. It makes everybody feel like the victim and the oppressor. And so you have now a whole generation of people, our age pretty much, that feel like they should be grateful for everything, and they should to a certain extent, but they also feel like they're a victim of this huge system that's oppressing them. It just, like, nobody wants to take responsibility for their lives, for the good and the bad, right? If people are in a bad situation, if they're broke, if they lose all their friends, you know, they're not where they want to be, it's always somebody else's fault. It's always the system's fault. It's always the patriarchy's fault. It's always, you know, it can never be. People don't want to look in themselves. And I tell you what, yeah, and I can speak on this because, like, this is where I've been at. Like, when I was, last time I was here, I was flying, bro. You get me? And that was a bad time in my life. Like, the last couple of years has been tough, bro. And I lost a lot of people. I lost a lot of friends. I lost connections. Bridges got burnt. And coming out of that, you know, about 9 months ago, you know, it was like waking up out of a bad dream, bro. But I had to realise that there's no one coming to save me, bro. There's no amount of money or gyal or, you know, drugs or whatever that's gonna save me from how I feel about myself. And to take responsibility and just say, you know what, cool, this is my fault. I'm not gonna blame no one. This is my fault, and I'm taking back control now. And I had to stop everything. I just went cold. And it was yeah, man. It's probably the most character building shit I've ever been through. You know, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I think if everybody
grateful for it though.
Yeah, 100%.
Coming out of it, that's what I'm saying. The more, I think that goes back to what I was originally saying. Like, the more you can be put in a bad situation and know that you're just gonna grow from it.
Yeah.
Like, what else can stand in your way?
100%, bro. And I grew so much from it. And like, I think Bliss was touching on this as well.
Did you watch the Bliss one?
Yeah, and he was sitting like, he said something about like, oh, if you're a waste man, don't be yourself.
Yeah.
some shit like that. Which I thought was an interesting point because it's like,
it was funny. So be yourself, unless you're a waste man.
Unless you're a waste man, yeah. But I feel like everybody has the capacity to be a waste man, right? You know. But if everybody adopted this mentality of taking responsibility for yourself, right? Like I read this, I was reading an interesting thing about how, you know, if you're in a relationship with somebody and they cheat on you, right? You have two choices. Like you can blame them, you can say it's their fault, you can say, yeah, they're a bad person, and cool, that might be true. But you also have to understand that, you know, there's something you're not seeing within yourself that caused you to even either be with somebody who would do that to you, or
cause them to want to do that.
Like people don't just cheat. Nobody just cheats on a partner that they're happy with. Sorry, I shouldn't say the word happy, but content with, that they love, that they care about, or.
It is happy though, isn't it? That's the
I guess it is happy. And that's the point, right? Is that again, like if you're out on the street, I don't know, and you get robbed for your phone, yeah, or somebody robs you or whatever, it's like you can say, yeah, they're a bad person, that they're a criminal, they're whatever, and that, yeah, but you now, it's still your responsibility. Nobody cares. Like even if you this is what I've been learning, bro, is that like when it comes to everybody goes through tough shit. Everybody, whether you're rich, poor, you know, whatever family you come from, anything. Like, everybody goes through tough shit, and it's nobody's place to say this trauma is worse than this, or you know, my pain is or my struggle is worse than your struggle, because you don't know that. We all feel pain the same way. If I shoot you in the leg right now, and I shot myself, it's the same pain we're experiencing, right?
Yeah.
And it's up to you whether you take responsibility for that. I spent years blaming other people for my shortcomings, for the way I was, and actually at the end of the day, it's just excuses. Like it took me deciding to change and deciding to have the humility to say something I'm doing clearly ain't working. And it needs to pattern up, and it's only gonna come from me. And it's like, if everybody adopted that mentality, the world would be a much better place. And I think I hope people do gear towards that. I think it probably comes with age, but
this is what I was saying. It comes down to is like just being able to take any situation and just become a better person from it. Because I think that is what humans are. Like realistically, everything's a lesson, isn't it? It's the same, bro. It goes down to everything, even to video games. Like missions are meant to be hard, and when you complete them, your character level is up.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah,
it's facts.
Yeah, 100%. And you don't care about them levels that are easy. You're just trying to speed through them because you're getting to the hard one, and then it's like
because you can do an easy one, but it's only going to put you up like 10 experience points, whatever. Yeah. Difficult one's 110.
And you get to that hard level, and then you just about to win or something, and then you die at the last minute, and then it's like, oh, right back to the start, right back to the grind again. You get up, you're a little bit better. You've got that little bit more experience.
But because that's not, you're fine with doing that with a character because it's not you. But like when it's people, and people don't see, because it's not literally put in front of them, this is gonna be a lesson. Like you see so many successful people, and they're like, look, hard times are lessons.
Yeah.
People don't believe it. They're just hearing it, bro. They're not actually like. But as soon as, because then when the majority, like the average person, goes through something, and even me, in a lot of sense, is like it's hard to actually firm it and be like, you know what, like, at least I'm gonna be a better person after this. It's fuck like, bro. That's hard.
It's hard, bro. Like, of course, and that's the thing, right? Of course, it's hard because, like we just discussed, everything hard is worthwhile. The hard thing to do is what you should do. Look, especially in this country, yeah, anybody can just sit at home, get universal credit, get PIP, lie about some mental health stuff. You can get a couple bags a month just for sitting at yard doing fuck all.
Yeah.
And I would argue that although and we can get political now, yeah. But like, I've been reading a lot of this guy called Thomas Sowell. He's a political commentator in the US, who argues that although like the welfare state, like not the NHS, but the NHS, universal credit, PIP, like benefits and stuff, supports vulnerable people, you're also giving lazy people an excuse to be lazy. You're validating their laziness. Because it's the same way, right? You know, you got ADHD, right? Are you
probably, yeah.
Are you diagnosed with it?
No, yeah, I'm autism, but
Right.
it's not like, you know what I mean.
Okay, cool.
I'd argue that majority of people that was to try and get diagnosed with it probably would.
Right, there you go. And so, if you think about your life for a second, if you never got diagnosed with that, like if you never had the preconceived. So when did you get diagnosed? Were you like 14, 15, something like that?
Nah, 16.
Okay.
But
cool.
But for me, I know what you're gonna say. For me, I've never thought of it, because when people start saying, "Oh, I've got ADHD and shit," it's like everyone says that. You know what I mean?
I know, and that's my point. Is that I feel like, so for instance, like with my mum's generation, like our parents' generation, they never had none of this like
Exactly.
mental health diagnosis. They just got on with shit, bro.
Bro, in third world countries, do you think people going around like, I've got ADHD?
That's what I'm saying to you, bro. And it's like, you know, like, bro, I was at, you know, when I worked in a members club, like as a barman and a waiter for a little while when I came out of school. And, you know, you got people coming in saying like, oh, I need a mental health day. I need to like, oh, I'm just feeling really depressed today, guys. I can't come into work. Like, you know, having to make all these accommodations and stuff. And it's just like, back 30, 40 years ago, you'd just be fired, bro. You'd just be like, you wouldn't have a job, or you wouldn't be in a position, like, bro, if you got bills to pay, it's also at stake, bro. I feel like for a lot of people, and I don't feel like there's much at stake anymore. I feel like we've lost a bit of meaning, and I'm not surprised, because you take now with inflation and everything, like, there isn't much for ordinary people, unless, I mean, we're very privileged in the sense that we actually know what we want to do.
Yeah.
We're doing it. We've been doing it for a long time. But a lot of people are just lost, man. I feel like and that's why I feel empathy for people, because it's quite, the bar is so low these days to get to where you want to go. Like I saw this video of Dana White. He's just saying like, bro, you run over everybody. If you're even remotely a savage at all, you'll just run people over, because most people don't see the point these days. People are just passively. How many people? Even with my girl, bro. Like, you know,
Why are you doing that?
It's kinetic. It runs on kinetic energy, innit?
I thought you had like a Twitch or something.
Oh no! It's just it runs on.
What, the watch?
Yeah. My dad gave it to me still.
What, and that's the battery?
The battery's this. It just runs on, like, as you're going about your day. The movement just runs it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Sorry, carry on what you were saying.
I can't remember.
Before you start bugging out, bro.
You get me? No, I can't. I guess it's just, yeah, man. I think. Man, we just live in such a passive generation. People just letting life happen to them, and it's so easy, bro. You know, like cool. I know maybe that's easy for me to say, but you have one good day where you get up early, you exercise, get outside in the sunlight, you know, have a good conversation with a friend, do an hour of solid work towards something you want to do. Just start something, and you'll see that you do that for a week. You'll look back at that week and be like, fucking hell, like, it is possible. You look back, you do it for a month, you're a different person. You know, all it takes is like...
But after you do it for a month, you don't even feel like you're doing it at that point. That's just lifestyle. You know what I mean? You don't feel... This is what someone said, like, it takes like 8 days to make a habit. And something after that 8 days, you just feel like you're just doing normal. Like, then it won't be waking up early, it will just be waking up.
Exactly. So, yeah. And then you've now created the life that you want. And I think where people get another thing confused is that, like, your time and your schedule and your day does not have to be some prison. It doesn't have to be like, it doesn't always have to be everything that you don't want to do. You should be always pushing yourself, but you should always be like, you should always be slightly uncomfortable in the sense that if you're afraid of public speaking, yeah, the thing that you're probably scared of doing is like, say, speaking in front of 1,000 people, right? I wouldn't recommend somebody doing that who's terrified of public speaking. But at your family dinner, showing them something you've put together, you know, like 5-6 people, you're uncomfortable with that, but it's like within your realm of possibility still. Yeah. It's like in the gym, you don't like, when you're starting out, you're not going to go and put 100 kg on a
I do a calisthenics club on Sundays. I would have done it today, but we're obviously doing this. Yeah. And for the people that are struggling to do push-ups, they put the elastic band, the flexi band on them. And that's the same thing, innit? Yeah. People that can't just do the body weight, don't do that. Ease into it. Like you're saying, if you're going to start with doing something, start small.
100%. And as well, it's like, you know, people break promises to themselves when they say, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to the gym every day, I'm gonna read a book a week, I'm gonna do all this, and then they don't do it, and then they get mad at themselves and they give up, right? On the contrary, you're also breaking the promise to yourself if, say, you underplay it and you do more. If you say, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to the gym once a week. I'm just going to start once a week, I'm going to go to the gym, right? And then you go to the gym that day, you feel good, and the next day you go, and the next day you go. It's like you've broken that promise to yourself as well, right? You want to build trust with yourself. And that comes from just doing what you say you're going to do to yourself and sticking to it.
It's discipline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything good comes from discipline.
And we are the most undisciplined generation there's ever been, bruv. Like I was speaking.
It's because it's so easy to slip out of it, bro. There's such little responsibility. Like
and also there's not really much. I don't really feel like there's much incentive to even take that responsibility. Like even when it comes to dating, bro. Like these days, like even if you think, and this is, I'll probably get flamed for this, but like, you know. Tradition stuff is coming back. Traditional values and stuff is coming back, but it's kind of like a rebellion against this woke shit, right? But you think about, say, the average man now, coming out of university with his degree. He can't get a job that he wants in his field. Inflation's through the roof. Cost of living's gone insane.
Bro, £4 for an Innocence movie, you know.
Brother, I'm saying £12 for olive oil, bro.
Same amount.
A bottle of olive oil, £12.
Bro, I was in the shop yesterday. Literally, Innocence movie, like not even the big ones, like a bit bigger than that, probably like the size of your appetizer.
Of what? Innocent, yeah.
Innocence movie, yeah. Like, fair play, it's mainstream, innit? Innocent, but thought that.
Ain't even got no club card reduction, nothing.
No, that is it some like corner shop. That 2 pizzas, which were £1.50 each, bro, £7.50.
You're taking.
I'm like £7. I look at the board that has the prices, and I'm like, the Innocence movie's £4.69. I said, forget that, bro.
Are you gonna vote, bro?
Nah, I don't.
How come?
Because it doesn't. I don't know anything about that. Like genuinely, I'm like.
Politics and stuff.
Yeah, like whatever the guys at the top want to happen will happen. Like there's been so many times that people have been caught out like
with lies,
like fixing the votes and having people like puppets and shit. Like, bro, I CBA. Like what the people that are in that are so far in it that speaking to them is like watching the news. And I don't want to end up anything near that. And I understand it's so easy to fall into.
Do you not think so? I had this conversation with my grandma the other day. And you know, she was because I was on your page where I was just like, what's the point? Like, I'm not even gonna vote. But like, she told me something that kind of stood out to me, which was like, you think about all the countries in the world that are underneath authoritarian communism, fascism, dictatorships and stuff, who don't have any say at all about like who's in charge I think it's definitely something to be it's definitely something to be grateful for. Even though I agree with you, I don't think anybody can do the job really. It's like the only way is to just get better. Just do your thing so that politics becomes nil.
I don't know. I'd take a quick look. Like I know Simon was promoting a Green Party the other day, and from what he was saying of it,
dead off Green Party, man.
Bro, I'm not getting into this with you because I don't know anything about it. But what I do is I take maybe a 2-minute look at each one, make my decision and vote. But that, like, I'm not against voting. I'm not like,
yeah.
I understand it makes a difference.
No, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, but it's like I'm not gonna. I'd rather better myself than try to do that and then put the responsibility on them and. Yeah.
I think, to be honest, exactly how you just said, the only way forward is to just get rich enough to where it doesn't matter and you can make difference yourself.
Facts. Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm saying, because otherwise, like, anything they want to happen is going to happen. If you think that Margaret from 43 Street's going to make a difference because she's watched the news every day.
Yeah, I hear that, but then it's like, if everybody said that, nobody would vote, but I guess
That's what I mean, that's what I'm saying, but I'm saying, like, the way they talk about it is like if da wins, the world's going to be perfect. Like,
man,
that's what I'm saying.
I think this country is trash, bro. We need to get the fuck out of here, man.
Nah, it depends. I think, you know what, since moving to London as well, is a completely different place. Like, the open-mindedness. I used to, when I lived there, like, rural places, bro, like, if you lived in a rural place for a month, you would absolutely hate England more than you ever have. Like, the club, I know so, bro, 100%. Because I'm like you, bro. Like, I don't take advantage of people. I don't do that shit. I really, like, appreciate people's good values. And I don't find it wet because people like making other people happy and people like doing whatever. In the rural parts, bro, like, I'm not saying everyone, but it's not like that. Like, you'll feel like the odd one out for wearing something mad. Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, because obviously there's still trains and buses there. Like, the shit that I've seen on TFL and the buses and shit like that, not even just since I've been living here, just when I take a trip up to London, even as soon as I enter London, if I live in the rural part for 4 years, as soon as I enter London, if I see something mad on TFL, I'm not even looking twice. Like, I recognise it, but I'm not like, it's like cool, you know what I mean? You go there, bro, it gets you in a state of mind where it's like anything different is wrong, like different equals wrong. And you've got groups of people, no one's their own characters, no one's doing nothing mad, you just get groups of the same people. And then people are hating on other random people and... Yeah,
that's a good point. I guess I've never thought about it like that. I probably do take for granted the fact that, you know, I've grown up in a melting pot and I guess... Yeah, I hear that. I do hear that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point you make. So, like, in a sense where in London there's so many different types of cultures and...
You could be interested in anything, bro, and there's going to be a club within an hour of transport from you that's doing it. Or, like, not a club, like an event. You know what I mean?
Event, club, anything. Yeah, you're right. I agree. I agree with that. I think that's a good point. Because I haven't experienced what it's like to grow up in, like, a small town or a village or... some rural area, because I imagine it's like the nail that sticks above the rest is the first to see the hammer. Ever heard that expression?
Yeah. No, I haven't heard it, but I know what you mean. Yeah, that's
it's like the person, the
person who decides to be different
is the first that gets the. You know what I'm saying? Out there, but here that's celebrated. You actually celebrate being.
And I think people thrive to it. Like, the only reason people like wearing these mad clothes and mad haircuts is just because there is so many people in London. Like, you don't need to be different, but for someone that likes to be, like, known and, like, looked at, like, you've got to do these mad things. Back in where I'm from, like, you don't need to. Yeah. Just do literally anything that everyone else isn't doing, and everyone's gonna look at you. But the difference is with that is that it's such a negative mindset. Yeah. Such a negative mindset that, like, as soon as they look at you, it's gonna have a negative thing. The only reason I can tell the difference is because I've been in both. So, like, literally, as I say, since like 12, I've been going to London, and spending a fair amount of time in each one. And looking at it like from like a bird's eye point of view, it is insane. Like people don't really think about open-mindedness, bro. But it's so much about the world. Because if you're not open-minded, you don't end up getting more knowledge. And if you don't have more knowledge, you are going to be constantly in the same mindset. And as I say, I think humans genuinely come down to like part of evolution isn't just. It's like knowing as well. Like the bird's beak didn't grow just because it was trying to eat in the tree, and it was like, oh, it's not working. It's because it then thought. Like, you know about the Darwin and the finches, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's because the birds were thinking, like, you know what, if I had a long nose, it'd be able to get in the tree. If I had a short stubby nose, it'd be able to pick at the bark easy. Like,
yeah.
And it's because they've thought of a solution, and over time. And that's like, luckily, humans obviously just very, like, because of the size of the brain, we can do it in a whole mad way.
Yeah, open-mindedness is like, directly correlates with GDP of a country. So the more open the country is, the higher the GDP tends to be, which I guess is like, I mean, it comes down to, open-mindedness is actually temperamental in a way as well, in a sense of it's actually personality based, right?
Yeah.
There's a trait, it's called it's like openness to ideas.
Yeah.
Which is usually follows alongside creativity. And some people just don't have it. Some people aren't.
I didn't.
Yeah,
Back in the day,
but
then...
I mean literally by personality, like you essentially personality, right? Your personality is like a hand of cards that you're dealt. You have certain traits that are like innate to your being.
Right, okay, yeah.
Right?
So I probably always had it, but it was like, it's
You just needed to be in the environment that allowed it to manifest.
What's the nature of a nurture, innit?
Yes, and this is the thing. They're not necessarily individual. Like they're completely connected in the sense that like you can have somebody that by nature would be a psychopath, right, or a sociopath, right, but put in the correct environment wouldn't be that. And the same way you can have, you can have that same person who grew up in grew up in solitude and didn't really have much people around, and that behavior that is innate to their personality would just never manifest because they didn't have the environmental factors in place to the nurture to really like allow that to take place, right? It's openness. Not everybody is open, right? Not most, but some people are very closed-minded and they're just set in their ways, and that's how.
So do you not think that could? I think that could change though.
I think like it comes down to another thing about how like you know how when people say that like a lot of on the left as well, like I hear a lot about if we built like a utopia where people don't have to work and everything's covered and all your food is covered and your rent's paid and you just got like you don't have to work again. Imagine you just got all the money that you need, you got all the food that you need, you got all the clothes that you want, you got a nice car to drive, big house and a family that you love or whatever. If you had just everything you need, right? That everyone would just like be blissfully happily like being creative all the time, and where everyone would just like chase their dreams. Like it's not how life works, man. We're similar, but people vary so much in personality. There's people that love working. There's people that love being an engineer or working construction, or some people they love doing podcasts. You get me? Like it's people vary a lot, and I think we need to think a little deeper to understand how we can create a world that allows people to flourish properly.
I do love this podcast, man.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I found, because I think the people I've been friends with, like, they don't really understand. The people that know me and be like, podcasts are so good for you, because I really like I would struggle to start a conversation with random people, even though I find them mad interesting.
Yeah.
Like now I'm getting used to it, but I would say that is because of this. But before, I would know, like I'd watch podcasts for hours on end, But if like about let's say like I go through, as I say, different interests. When I was really interested in like wildlife, and I'm watching all the podcasts on all of these different people that go to the rainforest and shit like that. But if I then jumped on the tube and say this guy was wearing a fucking sign that's like, I am #1 jungle expert, I would never go up and ask him anything.
Yeah.
So having like an excuse to do that, and that's not something that like I would change, because I think that just comes with like experience. I wouldn't like want to force myself to do that, because I think naturally now, like I'm so confident at doing that, I can actually get my ideas across and the questions I want to ask.
Yeah.
With this, bro, it's like an excuse to just like actually dive into like I love fucking like interesting facts. Like there was this guy that done a video for Lad Bible, and it was like an expert on the dark web that's been using it for 20 years, and he was telling his maddest stories. Bro, it was like 3 hours, and I watched the whole thing because I'm like, that stuff, people talking about their experiences, I love it. And I'd say a majority of why I love it as well is because it's like people like, bro, I love talking about myself, but I also hate it because it normally makes another person like, I know you don't want to sit here and tell me about, you don't want to sit here while I talk to you about whatever for 2 hours, and the same vice versa. But if you're telling me about an interesting subject that I know you're going to enjoy telling me as well, like that's gas.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's going to make both of us, again, I don't want to use the word happy, but it's going to make both of us happy.
It's an exchange, isn't it? It's yeah, bro. I agree 100%, and that's why I think this kind of long form content has become so popular, because school didn't really teach us to want to learn or to want to seek more knowledge, right? Think about like when you did your GCSEs, yeah, the first thing you do is burn all your books. Like, I'm done with that. Thank fuck. I'm done with school. I'm done with learning. But it's because they're force feeding us like information that we don't care about. You're more than happy to watch a 3-hour podcast on something that you genuinely find interesting. But I doubt you'd want to watch like a 3-hour podcast about how atoms and neutrons work.
No.
Probably not, right? So why am I learning that? It doesn't... There's people out there that is interesting for, and great, kudos to them. Like, great, more power to them, as far as I'm concerned. But, yeah, bruv, I just think, you know, we get... Yeah, I love podcasts too, man. All I do is listen to podcasts. My missus gets mad at me, bro. She's like, oh, this shit's so boring.
No, it depends what. Like, obviously, I've been getting into the Theo Von ones because I think it's hilarious. But actual, like, interesting podcasts, like, even little things, like, if I put a pizza in and it's going to take 12 minutes to cook, I'm like, cool. JRE clips.
That's it, man.
He's got someone on. Like, especially, I'm looking at the ones about microplastics a lot. Have you seen them?
Oh, man.
Bro.
Yeah, it's craziness.
Mad. People, there was like...
You know about the one with the, like, all of the birth control in the water and all that? You seen that?
No.
It's on the same shit though. It's about like microplastics. They're making men more feminine and that.
Yeah. And because they tested, it was like 40 people, 40 males, and then every single person they found microplastics in their testicles.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Our testosterone has halved in like the last 50 years.
That's what I'm saying. But it's because of things like, so they said every 1 litre bottle has over 200,000 pieces of plastic that you ingest.
What, like an Evian bottle?
Nah, so yeah, but like a 1 litre one.
Okay.
So like
of tap water.
That big. No, like if you was to buy mineral water, because you think about this, yeah. Like
I drink a lot.
Neither of us have got plastic in it, but you think them Buxtons, they're not being made in England, right? Yeah. So then they're being shipped over. Think about how long they're sitting in the docks with just sun on them, and that plastic, like it's just melting into the water. And then when they're like making cutting the plastic and whatever,
little
there's just
shavings
like, bro, you can't even see it. But they said over the week, people are ingesting about a credit card worth size of plastics.
And then it's just going through you, going into your bloodstream and all that. That's fucked, bro. There was another one I saw on the same thing about how in recent, since the last like 20 years, since like female contraception has become more widely used, right? When gal piss it out, that's going into the mains water supply. Like all the water is all recycled. Like all of what we use is all filtered and cleaned, and it gets put back into the system like tap water that you're drinking. And a lot of the estrogen that's in the women, like women pissing out, doesn't, because it's
not getting filtered out.
Like it's not getting filtered out properly. and so men are drinking just like liters and liters of estrogen, and that's why you're seeing like, I mean, this is a controversial thing because a lot of people will say like that's bullshit or whatever, but like, bro, you can see how men are becoming more feminized now.
Yeah.
In today's time, like,
and like,
just we can't.
Even
like,
people
not,
like, do you see like Notes? Like,
yeah.
he used to be doing all this rap music and shit like that, which obviously like, females can do in it, but it's genuinely a masculine thing.
Yeah.
And then he didn't do anything for ages, and then he just come back and start posting pictures in cardigans, smiling and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, I'm not dissing him, but that is clearly more feminine. And so many rappers and like male figures end up just slowly going that way.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's more. I think as well, there's other factors in that, in the sense of like fashion has become more kind of, you know.
Yeah.
You take someone like Young Thug, right, who is like a very masculine figure, right, and he was wearing dresses and all that. It's more a statement. It's like the fashion now is like.
I suppose that's just a level of different, innit?
It's fashion, innit? It's
pushing
like,
the limits.
Yeah,
different.
exactly.
Like,
where I'm coming from is more of a thing of like, on a chemical level, right? Our testosterone as men has halved in like, I can't remember the figure, but it's like last 50 years or something like that. Like they've been tracking it. And it goes down by 1% every year. So we lose 1% of our testosterone every single year, to the point where, and that's why I think a lot of this, like, I don't know, man. I just feel like we're softer nowadays. Like, we're just, you know, when they talk about, you know when they said about the whole, you know, forget Rishi Sunak. Yeah, I think he's a cunt. But you look at what he was saying about the national service stuff, right? He was saying that all 18-year-olds would have to do national service for a year or a couple years, right? Whether that's community service or going and serving in the army for a year. And I heard everybody against it. I'm like, bro, that's what we need, bruv. You need discipline, fam. That's what discipline is. You can say what you want about the Tories, whatever. I think, fuck them, as far as I'm concerned. But you look at that idea of bringing back having pride in your country, and not from like a nationalist, like, you know, keep Britain British and all that. Just more about having pride in the fact that every weekend you're going and helping elderly people, you're cleaning up your street, you're making sure the country as a whole runs well, and learning how to discipline yourself at the same time. Like, why would you not want to do that? I don't understand why anyone wouldn't want to do that. To do national service. Would you go spend a year in the army?
Yeah, I'd do the army. I wouldn't do cleaning the streets. Well, I probably would do cleaning the streets, but I'd pick the army. Because
you'd feel good. You'd feel that's what makes you'd feel good about yourself. You'd be like, imagine if everyone you know is collectively like making the country better.
It's only because I know that how the people in the army end up coming out with not a lot of bread, and I wouldn't want to risk my life for not a lot of bread.
No, but in the army, when you say like in the army, you're not like going to fight in war. You're just like doing drills. You're training. You're getting your fitness.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm saying so. I've
considered. If you did go to war, then
yeah. I've considered going to the army as a job now, because I think that, like, I had my friend Paul on, and he was in the army, and he is like, he's disciplined. Like 100%. He is just so like locked in with life, and I'm like, cool. But I'm saying that I would do that, but it's a lot of risk for not a lot of reward, because I think the reward on yourself would be massive, but then there's going to be a point, bro, where I want to have a family, and I'm not trying to not see them for weeks just for them to still be having fucking pot noodles for dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that.
So, but yeah, army's sick, bro, 100%.
And I hear what you're saying, man. And
I wonder if they brought up a generation on where the whole generation went in the army, all the males. I would love to see like the effect of that.
I think they wanted it for females too. I think they wanted it for gal too as well. I mean, I don't know how they would feel about that, but
no.
I don't think most gal wanted. most gal want to go to the army, but fair enough. But yeah, bro. It'd be crazy. I mean, look, bro. I got 5 little siblings, yeah, and you know my little sisters, bless them, they're cool. But you know, like, and my little brothers are cool too. I just see that in this new in today, I get, maybe it's just like, this is how you know I feel like I'm getting old, bruv. I feel like every generation, yeah, they look at like the people younger and they're like, oh, they're proper soft, there, man. Like they had it so easy compared to us and all this, but it's true, bruv. Like shit, the world is going crazy, and you gotta be clued up. You need to, like, people need to stay clued up. I need to watch the podcast, bro. You know what I'm saying?
One of my boys was doing, this is a bit off topic, but it's still the same thing of just how easy it can be nowadays. He does OnlyFans management. Bro, he's on 20 bags a month, bro. He's our age.
But your soul must just be dead inside, man.
No, but he doesn't do it. I'm saying that he hires, so he gets like OnlyFans models.
Yeah.
Or what he does now, he started off getting OnlyFans models and just running their shit. But hiring someone else to run their shit.
And he was texting the guys and that.
He hires other people to do it.
Okay.
I think he was doing it at the start. Yeah. But what he's doing now is he's going on these like live cam sites or whatever, getting the models to make an OnlyFans as well, paying a marketing agency to do the Instagram, and paying other guys to run the OnlyFans, and he's middlemaning it, bro, 20 bags a month. And it's like, what? And he started this like less than a year ago. Like, it's, bro, the amount of bread on media nowadays.
It's tempting, man.
It's so, like, it takes a hot sec to do, but that makes sense. Because the thing is, right?
It's just new age pimping. The way, that's what it is.
Bro,
the way, just pimping.
Yeah. It's what, that's how Tate started, isn't it?
Of course,
with the live cams.
Yeah.
But the way a business works is you have the customer, right? And you're going to have, when they see the product and then when they buy the product. And that bit in between is where people think. The same, I do sales now. Small talk's the most important thing, because as soon as you leave dead airspace and you let them think, people overthink, and then they start thinking. People don't like being sold to, people like buying, right?
Yeah.
As soon as there's dead airspace, they feel like they're being sold to, and that's most of the time when they drop out.
That's why you got to close the loop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let's just
close the loop in their head.
Yeah.
You're doing it for them, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, sales is the most, I would say, I'm so glad that you're doing this now. I mean, I know you probably got sales skills already, but like, sales skills is the most important. Sales is life, bro.
Facts.
Sales is literally every interaction with your family, with friends, with everything you do is all a sales pitch, right? And it's all like, this is why, you know, people call it manipulation, and yeah, it might be, but like, if somebody needs help buying something and you're facilitating that,
yeah, that's what I mean. I could never sell a product that people don't need. Like, I'm selling gas and electric for cheaper than what you're buying. Like, nothing negative is gonna come out of the conversation.
Yeah.
People that are going doors like Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff.
My brother does charity. He does charity work for like Battersea Cats and Dogs and that.
Mm.
You know, subscription for charity work, and like, he's slamming it. He's slamming it properly, like, because it's like you're praying on people's empathy in that regard, right? Like, they're not buying anything. They're literally just donating money to a charity, right? But man, sales. I would say everybody needs to learn sales, man. It's not for everyone though. I feel like you have to be quite a specific personality type to.
You know what? It wouldn't have been for me. It's only, I'd say again, because of the podcast.
Well, I mean, you have an ability, like, I would say, right, is that it's kind of similar to when man's on stage, yeah. Like, I tend to be pretty reserved around people I don't know, right? But once I'm on stage, it's like something comes over me. It's different. It's like, I feel like with you here.
That's true. Yeah. When I'm in the podcast, I'll speak to anyone, bro.
So I feel like with people you don't know, you're quite reserved. You're quite like,
if I'm out,
you listen more than you speak, innit?
Everywhere apart from out of the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I don't like talking to people unless I know them.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
But I'll come on. Yeah, you're right. I've never.
You come on the podcast and I feel like you.
I'll come on the podcast, bro. I've done an episode, you know, like YS, Dan and that.
Yeah.
YS and Dan. Yeah, YS and Dan and Sax. And these guys obviously talk the maddest stuff. And I'd only met YS once, and the same with Dan, but I'd only spoke to YS once. Never spoke to Dan. I'd never met Sax. Then like 3 of their boys, and I'm here on my ones. And there was halfway through the podcast where these lot are talking, and I'm just sitting, I'm like, I am so comfortable right now. And I know that 3 years ago I wouldn't have been. Yeah. If this was outside the podcast room, I probably, and there were 3 random guys, I probably wouldn't be, because I'm like, I'm still trying to work everyone out.
Yeah,
but when it's the podcast room, bro, and it's like my office.
Yeah. It's your element, innit? It's your element, fam, and that's my point. Is that like to have that ability is great. You know, that's the thing. I was watching 50 Cent talk about there's the guy who wrote the 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah. It's really quick. Is someone in after this? Is someone in after this?
Yeah, they're here. So you got like 3 minutes.
Yeah, we'll wrap up.
Cool.
Real quick, bro. You see when I do my intros, what do you think? Do you think I should do them anymore now? I like just because today we just got straight into convo and I've done that in the last one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Did you see a difference in the?
I don't know. It's just literally coming out
retention?
today.
Like, did you see a difference in the views or anything?
Nah, it's coming out today, so I can't tell you. But to be honest, that doesn't bother me. But I just mean, I think it works better. Because it feels like Rogan don't do it. I always use Rogan as an example. But like Rogan don't do it. And I think it feels so much more natural.
He does. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll just go straight in.
Yes, guys, so that was a Suited For You podcast. We just tied it up with J Rhys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Go click the videos on the screen and like and subscribe. Appreciate it, man.
Love, man. Solid episode, bro. Yes, bro. Definitely.